from the from the Soviet Special Camp Number 3 in Hohenschönhausen on August the 21st, 1945. She reports that the column of new arrivals moved along the Lagerstrasse to the main entrance and then on through into the front yard of the actual camp.
Tables were set up here, too. We waited until the files had been brought in. Each of us was called up and had to step forward individually, and we had to wait for permission to cross over to the opposite side, where we waited and waited. In this yard, we could see nothing of the normal life in the camp. To the right of the camp entrance, there were the garages, and on the left was an expansive lawn with one or two birches and tall pine trees and barracks, in which the Russian officers' families lived. Obviously, the camp inmates were not allowed to move freely in this area. If we did see the occasional German woman, she had inevitably been assigned to an officer's family as a household help. Once everyone in the consignment had been called up, we were organized into a column, 5 abreast, and the Russians counted us again. They seemed to enjoy the counting, because they repeated the process several times over. Either that or none of them trusted the ability of their comrades to count correctly. In front of us, we saw the command headquarters building. Right in the middle of this was the large arched entrance to the prisoners' camp, which had a tower with a pointed roof above it. A clock had been set into the front and back wall of the tower, and the archway had been decked out in the colors and flags of the Soviets, arranged in a kind of semicircle. In the middle of the archway hung a huge portrait of Stalin, greeting us with his satyr's smile. Then the large iron gate to the prisoners' camp was opened, and we were marched through. On either side of the gate was a Soviet soldier, and they counted us once more as we moved through. Piech, Yesich, Pitnyacich, Divachet, 5, 10, 15, 20. Thus we were squeezed through the main gate, 1,000 men and 200 women. We arrived in a vast yard, the so-called large roll call ground, surrounded by barracks in a radial arrangement. I was marching in one of the last rows of the column and felt a real physical pain, as if someone had stuck a hot knife in my back, as I heard the metallic sound of the gate being pushed shut behind us. We were now fully isolated from the free world. We had no hope of escaping. When would we be allowed to return to freedom once more through that gate? They hadn't told us anything. We didn't know the crimes of which we stood accused, and we didn't know what punishment to expect.